Biolab, and this is Vamsi here at Biolab, and in today's video we'll be discussing about some more parts of the inner ear. But before going into the video, I want to make an announcement. So soon you will be getting the PYQs of NEET from 1998, that is AAPMT. We have some aims and all those, and also NEET from 1998 to 2021 from neetprep.com, and those I'll be soon I'll be making the PDFs, and I'll also make sure that you get the update of that when I have completed the work. I'm just converting into Google Drive. It takes maximum another 15 hours. That is tomorrow I'll be making you an update on that in the form of short, and I'll be also providing you the link for the Google Drive folder so that you can access all the chapters. Maximum all the chapters I have covered. If there are some balances, I'll be covering it in the further stages. So in today's video we will be discussing about the inner ear. Yes, in the previous video we have discussed that inner ear is having Lieberknecht, and that Lieberknecht, and also we have discussed about cochlea, the cross section of cochlea, scala vestibuli, scala media, and also the scala tympani, basilar membrane, organ of Corti, etc. We have discussed in the last video. If you haven't seen that, please go watch that video and come back to this video, otherwise you will not be understanding anything, since I am not going to repeat them again, since it takes a big lecture again. So I will be continuing the chapter. Yes, in today's video we will be discussing about the mechanism of hearing, as well as some parts are remaining, as I said, in the inner ear. We will be discussing those. Mainly we will be discussing about the vestibular apparatus. Vestibular apparatus. This is another part of inner ear which is present above the cochlea. So do you remember that in the previous video, while I have while I drew the diagram of the ear, I have showed you some structures or parts called as what do you call them, the semicircular canals. I have told you those semicircular canals. I have showed you. See, I have drawn like this. Here is the cochlea I have shown, and like this I have shown. So these are your semicircular canals. Semicircular canals, and this is your cochlea. This semicircular canals, it is a part of vestibular apparatus. Semicircular canals is a part of vestibular apparatus. Now what are included in vestibular apparatus? We know that these semicircular canals, I have told you just now. Along with these semicircular canals, there is another part which is called as this pronunciation is also in controversy. I am just writing the name and I am telling you my pronunciation. Otolith. Otolith. It is Lith. Otolith. So this is also a part of vestibular apparatus. Okay, that is also a part of vestibular apparatus. Now tell me, what are the parts included in vestibular apparatus? 1. Semicircular canals. 2. Otolith. Otolith. Okay, otolith and semicircular canals. Okay. Yes, here speciality of these semicircular canals is that each semicircular canal, each semicircular canal is at right angles to each other. So they are perpendicular. If this is one semicircular canal, this would be another semicircular canal, this would be another semicircular canal, this would be another semicircular canal. So like this they are at 90 degrees or right angles to each other. So like this, these semicircular canals are arranged in the vestibular apparatus above the cochlea, and otolith is also a part. And you have another part called as macula. Macula also, I will be talking about this macula a little later when I will be telling you about the rest two parts. So then you will be understanding about it very clearly. In your NCERT what they did is they put this macula word in the bracket and they wrote those two parts which I wanted to tell you. Then after I will be explaining you about the macula. Macula, the NCERT line is macula is a sensory part of saccula and utricle. It is the sensory part of saccula and utricle. So these two, without understanding these two, you would not understand macula. So what I taught is first I will be explaining these two, then we will be moving on to macula. If you want to note this, please note it down. I will be pausing the pause the video, note it down, or else I will be waiting for you. You can note it down. You can note it down. Since there are not much point, please make a note of this point. This is very important. This macula, it is you also write there. Put a star mark and write that macula. It is a sensory part located between. Sorry, not located between. Macula is a sensory part of saccula and utricle. Please make a note like that. Macula, it is a sensory part of saccula and utricle. Please make a note like that. And also I will be trying to provide you the handwritten notes also. Yes, I have to provide for this, and locomotion I have provided you. I have also provided you the lecture notes for the microbes, plant growth and regulation also. Sorry, for plant growth and development also I have provided. Okay, please make a note. Please make a note of this. Okay, completed. Yes, we have membranous labyrinth and bony labyrinth. So in the same way we have membranous canals and bony canals. As the membranous labyrinth is present inside the inside the bony labyrinth, which is having perilymph in it, bony lymph is having perilymph, and since membranous labyrinth is present inside it, it is covered by perilymph. So like that only membranous canals are present in the bony canals, and they are suspended in the perilymph. Okay, they are suspended in the perilymph. The base of these canals, these semicircular canals, is swollen like this. Any part, if you see there are connections and it is swollen in the biology, you consider it as ampulla. Okay, ampulla. If the base is swollen and if there are some connections to that base, you can call it as ampulla. Okay, ampulla. So that is called as ampulla, the swollen base. And this ampulla contains a projecting ridge. This ampulla contains a projecting ridge called as cystae ampullaris, which has hair cells. Okay, this has a projecting ridge like this something. It is called as cystae ampullaris. This has a hair cells. Make a note of this also. This has hair cells. This saccula and utricle contain a projecting ridge called as macula. It is a sensory part of it. and the cystae and macula are the specific receptors of vestibular apparatus responsible. So that is very important point. Got about cystae? Cystae ampullaris. Cystae ampullaris. Macula, it is the projecting ridge of sacula and utricle, and it is a sensory part. And it is the sensory part. Now we have a other function related to these two, the cystae and macula. Okay, so do not worry, the board is getting black. After that I will be cleaning the board after the lecture. Please do not worry about it. Now concentrate here. This is very important point. Cystae and macula. Cystae and macula. Cystae and macula are, this is your NCERT line. It is present in page number 327, just above the mechanism of hearing paragraph. Okay, receptors of are specific receptors of the vestibular apparatus and they help in maintaining body balance. A very important point. They can ask you in your examination that mention the two parts of inner ear which help in maintaining body balance. So you have to choose the option which is having cystae and macula. Okay, they will be giving cystae, sacula in order to confuse you. Cystae, utricle. They can give you sacula, macula. They can also give you macula, cystae. Now what will be your option in these two? Sorry, in these four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now tell me your option in this four which helps in maintaining body balance. It is a question. Please answer that question. Answer it. So now tell me fast. Yes, if you choose your option 4, you are right. You will be getting 4 out of 4 marks. So see, in order to confuse you, sacula and macula are the same, just one letter is different. If you put M here in place of S, you will be getting macula. If you put S in place of M, you will be getting sacula. So they are twisting you, they are confusing you between sacula and macula. Please do not confuse macula and cystae, macula cystae by heart. Not by heart, but you understand the concept and then repeat it 10 times if there is anything important. Macula cystae, you are correct. Okay, good. And also you can also write posture. Okay, and posture. Yes, everything clear? Good. We have completed about inner ear. Now we will be moving on to the mechanism of hearing part. How we are able to hear. How the sound vibrations are reaching, or how the sound vibrations roaming somewhere in the atmosphere, reaching our ear, and how they are going in specific path. How they are traveling in specific path. In order to learn that, once again let's get the simplified diagram of this. I am not drawing anything new like I am just drawing a simple diagram. Malleus, incus, stapes. So okay, let's remove this stapes and incus. Now not required. Okay, just remember the diagram like this. Something you have eustachian tube, brain here, brain. Okay, just remember this diagram. What is this? Pinna. Function of pinna, collecting vibrations. This is canal, external auditory meatus. Tympanic membrane, cochlea, semicircular canals, eustachian tube. That is your brain. Now let us see how these vibrations reach our ear, how they are traveling in specific direction, how we are able to see this, and how our ear is able to convert waves. Sound travels in the forms of waves. We have to convert these waves into nerve impulses in order to decode these nerve impulses and sense the sound by our brain. This is very important. Sound travels in the form of waves. Our brain cannot decode waves. Now how we are able to do this process actually? So the external ear first receives the sound waves. The external ear receiving the sound waves from different directions like this. I have already told you this. It collects those and directs them towards the eardrum. So see this what you call this ear pinna, it is collecting all the vibrations, sending through the canal, external auditory meatus towards the eardrum. Now when they hit this eardrum, what happens? Let us see. Now when these waves hit the eardrum vibrates in response to the sound waves, and these vibrations are transmitted through the ear oscles. Do you remember the ear oscles? Yes, malleus incus stapes. Through these ear oscles to the oval window. So now whenever these vibrations are hitting this eardrum or tympanic membrane, as I told you that this tympanic membrane is of elastic nature, so it starts vibrating like this. Now when this is vibrating, these vibrations are transmitted towards the oval canal. Somewhere here we have the oval window, here we have incus stapes, malleus incus stapes, the ear oscles. Through these ear bones, this vibrations caused, or this what you call the vibrations, whenever it hits, it starts vibrating, and these vibrations through these ear oscles pass through to the oval window. From there what happens? Let us see. The vibrations are passed through the oval window onto the fluid of cochlea. What is the fluid of cochlea? Lymph. Yes, it can be perilymph, it can be endolymph. From here this oval window is connected to the cochlea, and these are passed into the fluid of cochlea. So basically they are into the cochlea and these generate waves in limbs. Yes, we have perilymph and endolymph, the bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth, and these vibrations cause waves in the fluid medium, the limbs. The waves in the limbs induce ripples in the basilar membrane. We have seen that the basilar membrane and Reynolds membrane, they are present. Scala vestibuli, here is the basilar membrane, here is the organ of Corti, here is your Reynolds membrane. Scala tympanis, here is your scala media. Now whenever these vibrations are here, the scala vestibuli contains perilymph, and this lymph vibrates or waves are caused in this. Due to these waves and vibrations, this basilar membrane is repelled, or ripples are caused. Have you ever seen water ripples? If a water drop is fell on stable water body, what happens? Ripples are caused like this. Wave fronts collecting, ripples are caused like this. So same thing happens here in the basilar membrane. Whenever these basilar membrane, the waves induce ripples, and these movements of the basilar membrane bend the hair cells passing pressing them against the tectoral membrane. As a result, the nerve impulses are generated in associated afferent neurons. We have also seen this organ of Corti is attached to the tectoral membrane, and this organ of Corti is having hair cells, and these hair cells, base of these hair cells we have afferent neurons. I have told you CNS tissue to CNS afferent, CNS to tissue efferent. So sorry, 1 minute guys. So sorry, the marker got wings and it flew away. Yes, the marker got wings, it flew away like flight. So afferent CNS to tissue to CNS afferent, CNS to tissue efferent. Now these are having afferent muscle nerve fibers. Now what is happening? These repels when they pass over these hair cells, these are your hair cells, these press the hair cells. Now hair cells are like this before, the hair cells are like this before. Now whenever the waves are passing on them, the hair cells become like this, they bend towards the tectoral membrane. Due to this tectoral membrane bending of these hair cells, inside this tectoral membrane where there are efferent nerve fibers, nerve impulses are generated. From here nerve impulses conduction is happening, not wave conduction. Till here wave conduction. If you haven't followed, I will be repeating it, please wait and watch. So these, from here the nerve conduction is happening, neural conduction is happening, nerve impulse conduction is happening, action potential conduction is happening from here. So now these impulses are transmitted to the afferent fibers via the auditory nerves to the auditory cortex of the brain. In brain we have auditory cortex. The auditory function is done by temporal membrane, temporal lobe, and this temporal lobe is having auditory cortex. From here these nerve impulses travel all through these nerves, auditory nerves, and they reach the auditory cortex of the brain. Inside the auditory cortex of the brain, the impulses are analyzed and decoded and encoded, and what to do, to listen or not. Again this brain sends information through the afferent nerve fibers to the tissue. So now, from where to where is the wave impulses conduction is happening? From where to where is the wave impulse conduction is happening? I will be giving you the order, please do not worry, I am again repeating. The wave impulse conduction is happening from atmosphere towards pinna, canal, external auditory meatus. They hit the eardrum, and these waves cause vibrations in the eardrum. They vibrate the eardrum. Due to this vibration, these vibrations are passed on to the vowel window, and this vowel window is attached to the cochlea, please do not forget it. And how these vibrations are transferred from eardrum to the vowel window? Through the ear ossicles, and from there these vibrations, now they are inside the oval window, and oval window they are passed from the oval window, they are passed into the cochlea. Inside the cochlea we have two fluids, perilymph and endolymph, and they cause waves in those lymph, and after causing waves in those lymph we have the basilar membrane, and they cause ripples in the basilar membrane here, and due to these ripples the hair cells of the organ of Corti bend towards the tectoral membrane. Due to this bending, nerve impulses are generated inside the afferent nerve fibers, and from there nerve impulse conduction starts, and from there they are traveled into the auditory cortex of the brain through the auditory nerves and afferent nerve fibers. Now I will be writing the order or pathway followed by the vibrations or sound inside our ear. Very important, remember. I'll be writing the both orders different: waves transmission order and nerve impulse transmission order. Let's see first waves from atmosphere, ear pinna, external auditory meatus, and from there they vibrate the eardrum. So if I put the inner inverted commas vibration, after the eardrum they pass through the to the oval window, through the ear ossicles. After oval window they pass on to cochlea, and in cochlea they cause vibrations or waves in the fluids. These are the limbs, both the limbs, fluids, and these are the perilymph and endolimbs respectively. After these vibrations cause repels in the basilar membrane, and due to this repels in the basilar membrane, the what we call the hair cells of Corti, organ of Corti, bend towards the tectoral membrane here. After that bending they cause nerve impulses in the afferent nerve fibers due to the bending of hair cells in organ of Corti. From here these afferent nerve fibers, of hair cells, here the neural impulses are generated. From here neural impulse transition occurs. Nerve fibers, afferent nerve fibers to the auditory nerves, and from there auditory cortex. This is present in brain. So this is your order which is followed by the sound inside our ear. So put an end, write the end, put the end mark. Completed this chapter. We have completed neural control and coordination successfully in today's lecture, and in the next lecture we will be starting the chemical control and integration chapter. So this is Vamsi signing off from Biolab. If you have any doubts, please do comment down in the comment box. If you haven't understood any part, please do comment, and then I will be responding to that through the shorts. So there you will be understanding if you haven't understand anything. So this is Vamsi signing off, and as I said, you will be soon getting the update about the PYQs. And yes, hope you like the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel Biolab. And have a great day, guys. Thank you.